Alright, we should be live. So welcome everyone to Tier 1 of 2S on Monaco today. I'm Vito and together with me is Shiv.
How's it going, everyone? Yeah. How you guys doing? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Monaco, the crown jewel of the Formula 1 calendar. As mentioned, I'm here with Vito. 10 drivers today in what I believe is a very competitive grid. Wouldn't you say so yourself?
Yeah, it should be very competitive, but hopefully we'll see not too big of gaps between these drivers. Of course, only 10 people today. Not a very big amount, just like yesterday in Tier 2. But hopefully it still will be a great race to watch.
Great, and we are going to get our first flying lap as we're here with Ron Rafondes in the Williams, just currently going across the start-finish straight, now into Saint-Devoux for a little bit of a tour on this lap. So this is Saint-Devoux, and now into Beaurivage, this tricky set of corners right here. You can touch the barriers like David Coulthard did back in his Red Bull days. Massenet, and now the iconic Casino Square. There is a casino over there if you want to, take a gamble potentially on some bets and potentially on some tire strategy. The hairpin, one of the hardest corners on the calendar, is something I even messed up, even with 3 F1 games underneath my belt. Here's the Mireruba, Portier, and the actual only part of the track where I am good at, the main straight. And it's not even a main straight, it's just a bit of a kink. Now, the Nouvelle chicane, a lot of overtaking is going to come down here. It's a very heavy braking point. Finally going into Tabac, and he's backed out of the lap. He's actually invalidated the lap. So we're gonna get a nice slow look at Tabac by a very iconic set of corners, a right, left, and another right here. You can touch that curb, do what Nicholas Latifi did, and George Russell did, and Charles Leclerc did, and crash into the barrier, and maybe get pole position if you're lucky. But yeah, that's a little bit of a guide of Monaco. What is the primary objective for these drivers out of the day? Just really keep out of the wall, or do some overtaking? What do you reckon?
I think keeping out of the wall is definitely the most important factor of Monaco, especially because there is zero runoff on this track. So definitely staying out of trouble will be one of the most important things for all these drivers. But hopefully we will see some nice racing and maybe a couple of overtakes here and there from these drivers.
Currently, the time is a 1:10.5 set by 2S Pixel in the AlphaTauri. And I say that we've got one of our first collisions here at qualifying. We've got a bit of an accident down at Portier with Rafondes in the Williams. The yellow flag was waved and now it's gone. Saying that though, Justin that racer has put a 109.3 on the soft compound tire. Legend D, presumably that was an outlap on the medium tire. He's then a 127.5 and now is really pushing in that Mercedes. So what do you reckon is tire strategy here? Is it the soft to the medium, or is it you're gonna do something quite amazing with the medium to the hard? Because Monaco, it is quite high tire wear, but track position is everything on this track. And where essentially you qualify is in most cases where you stay. So what do you reckon tire strategy is here?
So yesterday we mostly saw a soft medium or a medium soft from the drivers. And I think there was one person on the hards, but it didn't look like he was really enjoying himself because he was losing a lot of time to the other drivers. So presumably we will see a lot of soft mediums and medium softs.
Got that. So what would you say, like even with, supposing some guys hitting the wall, coming in for a tire change, coming in for a wing change as well, would that, so, and as I say that, the 108 8 has now been set by Legend, or I was going to say Legend D, because obviously the L and then the D are both capital. That's a time probably faster than I could put out, even on soft compound tires and cutting half the track. So that's really a special lap here at Monaco, especially in the medium tires. If he goes to the softs, he is well clear of anyone else if he keeps up the same pace that he did. So, predictions for the race? Anything that you want to say? Any drivers you've been following, particularly that might pull a surprise out of their bag, or something like that. Because Monaco is never, you never really get the a clean result at Monaco. It's more so kind of like very exciting. You see a lot of leaders crash out or something along the lines of that. So who's your pick for pole position?
Definitely, I would be thinking that either Legend or Justin will be the main drivers that will be going for pole. So Justin currently being on a 109.3, and I was spectating on that lap, and he actually lifted before the line. So he definitely set himself
save
up.
fuel?
I think
Maybe.
it was more of just setting a delta, so he could do his medium lap, as he's on the mediums right now on his out lap. To try and fight for pole on the mediums, as Mali goes P2 with a 109.2 on the mediums in the Ferrari. We were just on board with him. And I think that is Pixel on the softs just starting his lap, going up the hill in the AlphaTauri.
27 AlphaTauri, and now I'm just going up with Mazenay and Casino Square. It's interesting. I didn't expect people to have the soft as a benchmark tire. I always thought, okay, it was the mediums that you put on initially, and then you put on the soft to go much faster. But no, it's the opposite way around here. It's the softs that are being used. It's the medium that you want to start the tire on, that you want to start the race on, let's say. But similarly enough, did the softs really hold any advantage? Because I think the start, lap 1 is really crucial. So would you say that tire strategy even matters around a track where you can't really pass?
I think definitely at the start is where the biggest difference is gonna be. If the soft runners can start in front, they will definitely pull a little bit of a gap to those mediums guys, for at least the first few laps. And I think then we will see the mediums starting to kick back in, and maybe catch back up with the soft guys, depends on how the pace is gonna be. But I'm pretty confident that starting on the mediums will be the better strategy here, because of course later towards the end of the race you can slap those fresh softs on, and with low fuel it's gonna be much more of a high pace drive on those tires.
And in a higher speed of Monaco also allows you to make many more mistakes. We've seen a lot of people on low fuel, on these soft compounded runs, clobber into the barriers because there's not much weight. Saying that though, Legend I think even goes even faster with a 108.8 on his 3-lap old medium tires. A lot of people actually invalidate here at the Nouvelle chicane. That's turns 10 and 11. It's a really tricky corner because even if you go a millimeter on the we say gravel strap, the bumps, let's say, you do get an invalidation. These guys are super quick and surprisingly enough going for a lot of runs consecutively, because typically speaking with a track like Spa, you go for 1 or 2 runs in a row, or like in the wet you go for 1 or 2 runs, but these guys will do what is essentially, an out lap, a push, a cool, a push, a cool, and then an in lap, which is something I have actually rarely seen in league racing before. It's something extremely interesting to me. So why is that? Why isn't Monaco quite literally, just put in as fuel to get in, out, and then 1 lap kind of thing? Why do you need to do multiple runs here at this circuit?
I think this circuit is one where, of course, you don't need a lot of fuel because the speed is relatively low through a lot of sector 2, and sector 3, of course, isn't the fastest on the calendar either. So I think a lot of drivers tend to grab quite a bit of fuel, just go out on the mediums, because the tire on the mediums is really not as high as you would expect, and just try and do 3 laps, maybe 2 laps behind each other, because those mediums can really last that amount of push laps. As Rafondes here almost hit someone coming out of the pit lane when he was finishing his lap. That was a really close call. But I think that on the mediums you can really afford to put a little bit more fuel and try maybe keep the temperature in the tires throughout some runs. and just try and complete 2 runs behind each other. And I think also time might be a factor. Towards the end, maybe go out on the softs and see if someone beats you, then finish your lap, and if not, you can always abort it and go back into the pit lane.
That's extremely interesting because typically with some league races, when I commented for 2SRL last, I think we had something at Hungary, and it was in the wet, and a lot of these guys would do 2, 3, 4 laps on their inters, right? And that made sense, right? Because then we want to progressively get up faster because the tire warm up. Do you lose a lot of tire temperature here at Monaco? I mean, is it something where like if you go slowly through the main straight, you are essentially driving on ice? Is that the kind of people feel around this track, or what's it like?
I think especially on the soft tires, they tend to overheat quite quickly, whereas with the mediums, they might not overheat as quick, but trying to keep them at the proper temperature window that they're supposed to be is one of the most important factors. And of course, the tire window in F1 2021 is quite tiny, because it might be 2 to 3 degrees where the tire is at its perfect temperature, where they can really grab those tenths of seconds.
So we're seeing 5 minutes from the 18-minute qualifying session. 5 minutes now. Softeners are coming out, so we're seeing some bright, new, shiny set of soft tires. And we are going to see some blistering lap times. These guys are already fast on the mediums. Imagine what they can do on the soft tires with low fuel. It is going to be, I think, the pole position separated by only 1 or 2 tenths. Or even that, maybe a couple of milliseconds at most. So we'll see what happens. Everyone's going to go on their outlaps, and with the kind of runs we've seen, with the 2, 3 runs in a row, it will be quite interesting to see how these guys do. So it's about, you want to say 2, 3 laps with an in and out thing?
Yeah, probably. As we see Refonda, or not Refonda, excuse me, Tofu Boy going back into the pit lane, not finishing his lap.
I guess Vito's had to go for a quick moment, so I'll just take over. We've currently got a couple of drivers setting lap times on the medium tires and some on the soft tires, and setting their banker laps before they finally go out when the track is really rubbered in. Any type of grip here helps on Monaco. If you're even gonna get 0.1% of a grip, you will take advantage of it, and will lead to improvement in time. Last 3 minutes of qualifying to go. Currently on board with Mali in the Ferrari. Just had a bit of a shaky last sector there. Invalidated immediately, and I guess he's still gonna go push on this lap. Either doesn't realize there's an invalidation, or is kind of keeping tires up at temperature. I think he does sense, because it's currently in P3, but maybe he's just getting into the rhythm, because I would say if he has enough feel for it, if they have enough feel for it. Oh, S2S Pixel retires from the session. In the pit box? I don't
No,
think
that was actually at Casino Square.
He crashed.
Crashed. He might have hit the inside wall and then proceeded to fly into the outside.
Oh, that's
so
not nice.
it's a bit of a rough one.
Oh, no red flags in this session though, so we can continue. Luckily, the marshals have been quite speedy and cleared it, so there's no, 2S Pixel gets pole through through crashing into the barriers kind of thing in this league race. As we have Rumsey Cocaine Cracker retiring from the session in the Haas, didn't set a time. The Aston Martin and the Red Bull also did not set a time as of yet. Actually, the Red Bull of 2S Dragon is currently out on his outlap and will make it to the line. We've got 2 people retiring from the session completely, and 2 of them at the moment, so Torska and Rumsey Cocaine Cracker, have not set a time as of yet.
Torska actually just went over the line for 112.1, which I assume was a safe lap.
So you'll be probably cooling the tires down on this lap, and then one more push lap. You're gonna see a bit of a traffic jam as Legend actually goes faster, 108.5 on the medium compound tires, currently a 3/10 gap to pole. Saying that though, 2S Dragon is on an outlap. It says he's on the soft compound tires, but he's actually in the mediums. So I guess the F1 game is a little bit of fooling with us, let's say. He's now gonna go set his lap time. We're gonna go on board with him. Ooh, is that Ferrari gonna affect him? Not too much. And now is when you will see real crunch laps coming in. So Mali's coming in, or rather going out for his lap time. He's gonna learn the line from 2S Dragon. He's gonna go on the soft tires. The mediums aren't viable. So P3 wants to be a P1. Will he make it to the flag is the big question. Because obviously he's got a Red Bull in front of him, but he is going racing pace, so we'll see what happens there. Hopefully it doesn't hinder him. We've only got, I can't see the timer at the moment, though. I do see a yellow flag. That's a Legend who's actually retired from session. I think he's quite happy and confident with his lap. We've got a yellow flag on the main straight as well, but that's just been cleared up. We've got 35 seconds for Mali to get through to the last sector. They'll get it, but the main issue is both the Williams drivers. They've not only got to get a gap, but they've also got to reach the line in about 20 seconds, which it looks like they are going to do. Hopefully, don't touch the barriers or anything like that.
And Dragon went P2, beating his teammate by 1,000th of a second.
That's
Speak
insane.
about low margin or low gaps, isn't it?
Has retired from the session with the 110-1. We've got both the Williams drivers who are really close for comfort. I don't know if the slipstream is going to help you there, mate, but it really did. And I think he's now got front wing damage. That's Rafondes. But Tofu Boy has now...
Someone's done a Rosberg. Someone went straight. Someone went straight. That's Justin who went straight.
That's Justin.
Instead of turning right there.
From the session. To Dragon now presumably coming back to the pits. Tofu Boy and Rafondes probably lost a heap of time. A little excursion, let's say, for lack of a better word. Yellow flag's being waved up. It's a Ferrari for the yellow flags. This is not the first time we've seen that before. Luckily, it does get out of the way. So Mali is in P4, has invalidated his lap. Going through the fast couple of corners. I don't know how much slipstream really helps in this track. That's why you leave a gap. Always. You have to have a perfect gap of being there but not being too close to your teammate. So Rafondes does go in. Wasn't happy with his lap. Tofu Boy from P7 to P6 with a 110.004. And I think that is effectively it for qualifying. A lot of people in the pit lane and no more laps being completed. So yeah, that is qualifying. Legend is on pole with a 108.554. That's a super lap.
That's a really quick lap, especially even if with his mediums being 7 laps old.
That's
so
insane.
it's very, very, very quick.
Well, I know
time.
who I have my money on. Let's say that much. Yeah, that's insane. So qualifying is now over. Order goes Legend in the Mercedes, 2S Dragon in the Red Bull, followed up by Justin in the following Red Bull, Mali in the Ferrari, still in the AlphaTauri, Tofu Boy in the Williams, Fox in the Alpine, Rafondes the Williams, Torska in the Aston Martin, and Omzi Cocaine in the Haas. Now 14, I was going to say it's 14 seconds ago, but now we have the race, and it's going to be extremely interesting knowing the caliber of these drivers. I think we're going to see someone very unexpected win. That's my bold prediction. I know it's a very vague one, but I think that's what's going to happen.
This race is definitely gonna be interesting. I think looking at the qualifying times, I think the top 3 are definitely gonna try and pull away pretty quickly from the rest. But it might be a very different story because I think everyone behind the top 4, so the top 4 is on mediums. Pixel and Tofu Boy in P5 and 6 are on the softs. Then it's Fox and Rafondes on the mediums again. Torska on the softs in P9, and Romza in P10, starting on the hards. So that's an interesting strategy for starting on the hards, especially here in Monaco.
If you can get in front of people, you will automatically be an advantage. That's the main thing. Only thing that Rumsey Cocaine Cracker has to do is not crash at the start. I think he's alright. Strategy looks like a hard to medium, and if you're on the mediums, it's a medium soft, and if you're in the soft, it's a it's a soft medium, or you could do a soft medium, or you could do a soft to hard. Either way, or you could do a soft to inters. Think about that. How about that for spicing things up? Tell everyone to go in the pit lane right now. Put on a side of inters and see how they react.
That would
Guarantee
be
you it'll
interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Or even full wets, just let everyone drive on full wets.
Wets. Put your downforce to 1, right? And have at it. We'll see what happens.
Now that's definitely an interesting strategy right there.
I'm just gonna see Legend has retired, Tua's Dragon has retired, Justin has retired instantly. After the session. And see people in 8th gear just going through, you know, I was gonna say Blanchimont for a second there, but through Casino and just not going any lower. But we're gonna see what happens in the real race as we go past the final couple of corners to start, to finish this formation. Now, tires are warm, brakes are warm. It's kind of warm outside, though we don't have a track temperature for you at Monaco. Laying up in our grip positions. Vin, would you like to take the start away?
Yes, sir, will do. So now we're just waiting for the back of the grid to get into their grid slots, and we will start to make the lights go out. Let's switch to our legend in number 1, and it's 5 lights, and lights are out, and away we go without a delay this time. And F1, and it looks like Dragon has got a very good start. Dragon and P1, they touch together with Legend. Dragon dropping back a little bit. Now it's Justin going side by side. No, it is Dragon going side by side. Dragon is into the lead, leading from Legend. And Justin dropped to P3. So Legend lost a spot initially on the start. Pixel is also up into P4. Now Justin having a little look at Legend down the inside. But Legend closed the door just enough for Justin not to be able to overtake him. And now the first time through the hairpin we go. Everyone's still together. Doesn't look like there's any damage for anyone.
It's like a relatively clean start. I wouldn't hold your breath when I say there isn't any damage. I think there is a bit of damage for Dragon. There was a bit of a clipping with Dragon, front wing, and Legend's side pod. So I think there is a bit of rear wing, rather front wing damage. And as I say that, Legend taps the barriers. So it's going to be an extremely... Oop, another tap again. So be tapped, but I guess that's going to add up. And as I say that, yep, Legend does come into the pits for a first lap change and has actually retired from the session. So I guess was so frustrated that he did not want to continue on and has literally retired. And coming in front of him, Rumsey Cocaine Cracker in the Haas has also wanted to change his
So
rig.
there's some interesting stuff going on. Legend, his car is standing still in the middle of the pit lane and was blocking Fox for about 10 seconds. So that's something you don't see every day. Legend's car being desynced.
Master plan, you see.
The Mercedes master plan definitely worked out if that was the strategy.
I guess Legend got frustrated, he banged the barrier. I think there's gonna be a bit of interesting with the stewards debriefing, but could be very interesting on what happens there. So currently it's a Red Bull 1, 2, 3 as Tuas Dragon and Justin that racer are leading, followed by an AlphaTauri, so it is technically Red Bull 1, 2, 3 because AlphaTauri is owned by Red Bull. We see another victim of the barriers, and that's Ra Fondes in the Williams car. going for what is a, I thought it was a drive-through penalty at first, but that's a wing change and a change from the medium compounded tires now to the hard compounded tires, going till the end of the race. Now going out, so it's a decent stop from the Williams team, so around 8.3 seconds is the average stop. Does come out ahead of the Haas and Fox in the Alpine. So it's been interesting, and now Ralph Fundes now gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Presumably that was the, I'm going to say Saint-Deveau and Beau Rivage as well. Maybe some corners were cut out there, but yeah, it's definitely quite interesting. It does look, though, that the Red Bulls are in a decent position. Saying that, though, Justin has clawed back the deficit. I was going to say from 2.7 to 2.6. Now it's going to go up and down and up and down and up and down. So definitely something very interesting.
I'm just having a look at our closest battle on the track, which is Mali, who is chasing down Pixel, as they're within 6/10 of each other, which is very, very close. Looking at the other gaps on the track, Honda's getting another penalty, so Honda's already up to 6 seconds, which on Monaco is a lot of time.
And that is essential. We've seen a lot of races at Monaco being decided by penalties. You know, like we saw in the race in 2019 was decided by a penalty as well, with Sebastian Vettel getting a third place due to Max Verstappen's excursions. Let's say with Lewis Hamilton, we see a yellow flag. That is Romsey Cocaine Cracker retiring out of the race, coming out of the pit lane. Somehow, actually no, I thought it was coming out of pit lane. Stayed in pit lane. The yellow flag has gone out, but that's 2 retirements, and now we only have 8 cars on track. So it's definitely gonna be interesting. There aren't too many battles. I would say the main one is between Pexel and Mali. So both Italian teams of AlphaTauri and Ferrari currently battling. So Pixel is at a bit of a disadvantage because the softs will wear out pretty quickly. The mediums, if Mali can keep it out of the barriers, will not do too badly, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely... Ooh, that was very close. Mali almost hitting Pixel in the back with his front wing. So it looks like Mali definitely has a little bit of pace advantage on those mediums already, as he gets really close to Pixel on most braking and acceleration areas. But Pixel might just be using a little bit more of that overtake button. Trying and keep his spot. As Mali hits the wall with his rear wheels on acceleration. A bit too quick on the throttle. Hitting the wall.
Use the overtake button. That's scary. You don't want any other additional wheel spin. Actually, I think Monaco is the only track where you can theoretically turn the engine mode down. Anything. Because you want at least amount of power here to make the corners, because you really don't want thing like that to happen. It's definitely being extremely interesting. Luckily, there's no puncture. Speaking of pits, we've got Tofu Boy 86 in pits. First change off to hard tires. Club is done.
So
out
both the Williamses on the hard tire compound. That's interesting.
I think it's really gonna hurt them at the end of the race.
Oh, and there's a collision. That's Dragon spinning, and I think he touched with his teammate Justin, as Dragon lost his front wing. I didn't see what happened there as I switched in too late.
I think it's an end plate. Just give me a second to put the aerial cameras. Oh, it does look. Yeah, it does look like it's a front wing replacement for sure.
But I wonder what happened is when I switched, Dragon was facing the wrong way into the chicane.
He's in the pits. He's in the pit lane. Pixel gets a P2. Mali gets a P3. Dragon does have the pace though, so it will be interesting to see. Medium to hard compound tires. Is let out by the Red Bull crew. In P4, P5 shall I say, Torska has overtaken him in the Aston Martin. coming out of the pits now will be a very good comeback drive, I think, because I think that they do have the pace. Right.
So
Does
now
look
still Mali, still on the gearbox of Pixel, closest that he has ever been. Will we see a little bit of a cheeky send here into the chicane? The overtake button is enabled, and there's Rafondes in front of them, hitting the barrier, splitting the chicane and the street next to it.
out. He's out. That's his race done. Oh no. Super unfortunate. That's 7 cars left in this race. It's not very nice, I don't think. I would really like to have everyone not retired, but
And
Monaco
Mali's
is
pulling into the pit lane.
So I guess it's the wing change.
It is.
Really speaking.
It is a wing change.
That's gonna give Pixel more breathing room. Raf on this left session, a bit frustrated presumably.
So now realistically there will be not many gaps that will be close. Once actually...
Torska, from being clean, has gone to P3. Dragon reclaims that P4. Now can get his P3, potentially P2 back. Know that Torska and Pixel have to pit, so he is back in that net P2, provided he doesn't touch the barriers. But he won't catch up to Justin unless Justin has a wing change, and even then, he's safe.
Yeah, the gaps at the moment are not really something we were hoping for. It's the closest gap between people is between Dragon and Torska, which is 3.7 seconds. So we were hoping for a bit more closer racing, but by the looks of it, it's not really gonna be an exciting race if it stays like this.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, as people say here at Monaco, I guess. It's definitely.
Like I said yesterday in the Tier 2 stream, this race currently seems more like a free practice session than a race. Although Dragon is really gaining hard on Torska in front of him. He's already 1.1 seconds behind him.
That's just the pace of Dragon, though. He is making work, and it might also be the wear of the soft compound of tires. Will definitely be something quite interesting. You can already see Dragons at the back of Torska's gearbox. It might make a pass right here using all the ERS. We go side by side. Is he gonna risk it? Maybe. Okay. Well,
Can he do it around the outside? He can. Not
That's
cutting the
really,
chicane.
really
That's
cool.
a really cool move by Dragon there. Around the outside in the chicane in Monaco on the hard tire compound as well.
The softs are really starting to take a hit at this stage. So it will be the fact that you know, I wouldn't say he backed off, but he knew that there was no fighting then. That's one of the biggest things. So it's interesting. These softs can go for 29 laps. You would do on the hard compound tire if you pitted now. For Pixel, you can see the gap is about 15 seconds between to his Pixel to his Dragon. So we have the well, actually chasing down the sister team, and the gap is slowly coming down. Well, so slowly dropping. So will be very interesting to see how Pixel's going to react. He might be coming to the pits soon, so I would not be surprised to see Dragon in P2 for that Rebel 1-2 as was previously mentioned.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how much Dragon will be able to catch up to the sister team. Of course, he will overtake him at some point because Pixel will have to pit quite soon. as those softs aren't really gonna last much longer after 10 laps already. It's gonna be pretty interesting, and I think that's Mali who just passed Torska, and Tofu Boy who was crashed at the swimming pool. So Tofu Boy
No.
in the Williams has spun at the swimming pool, but it doesn't look like he has
This is
damage because he's continuing.
Luckily, I was like, is that another person out? Oh no, you know, kind of thing. That would not be very nice, I think. And with 6 cars, it's quite spread out and whatnot, but yeah, will definitely be interesting. Luckily, he has kept it going, so that's good. And it's still points, you know.
Yeah, I think the most important part here for people is just to finish the race, because it's 3 points in every single way, because there is only 7 people left. So yeah, it's just people just have to finish the race.
Just finishing. That's all you gotta do at some point, you know. I mean, that's the thing with Monaco. Even if you finish the race itself, it's an achievement because it's such a hard race to keep out of the wall. And I think even people DNF, they score points. So as Torska does come in for a pit stop, it does overtake him. So does quite literally everyone else bar Tofu Boy on the freshest tires at the moment, on those fresh mediums. I'm surprised that Pixel's out, so we'll see when he does come in and when he can change those tires. Maybe he can do the soft to medium. Potentially be happening as I say that. Pixel comes in, activates his ERS weirdly enough in the tunnel, rather in the pit lane. That is just tires. We've seen tires and nose. So he's being held up. I was like, okay, that's a slightly longer stop than usual. So it's now a Red Bull 1-2 and an Alpha Tauri in P3. That's quite sensational. Rather, it's the Ferrari in P3, so we might have a little bit of a battle on our hands. Mali has done the undercut. Saying that though, they are on Pixels on mediums, so should see if they can potentially catch up.
So Pixel should technically be able to catch up pretty quickly, as those mediums will be much quicker than the hards at this point. Especially because the hards at Monaco are really not the nicest tire to drive on. Speaking from experience, I went to hards once in my lifetime, and I would rather never do that again, as it really was just disappointment and pain after I came out of the pits. Those tires have really, really poor grip around here, so Pixel should be able to close that gap within just a handful of laps, I would think.
I do think that every sense of grip that you get here is something you need. At Monaco, every bit of downforce you can have, any bit of grip you can have. If your car sticks to the track like one of those slot cars, then it is ideal, really. That's one of the biggest things.
And it's Mali DNFing, so Mali has crashed out in the casino square. So we have another car not finishing, so we have 6 cars left in this race. So that's quite depressing, especially because we have so many laps to go, like you just said. It's very unfortunate.
It's, Monaco is the type of track in where, like this does happens a lot. So in the real life races, you've got some non-finishers, whether that's due to mechanical issues, or whether that's down to like physical crash and whatnot. But fortunately, 6 people left now. It's kind of like almost like a battle royale, more than it is a race. But I guess stuff like this happen, and just make the best of the situation. Is all you can really do. You know.
It's yeah, exactly like you just said. But I'm really disappointed that so many people just check out just because of the fact that it's Monaco. In my opinion, it's one of the best tracks on the calendar, and it's definitely one that I personally, even as a driver, I look forward to, because it's really something you don't see on any other track. This type of racing, and the fact that so little people choose to drive this weekend is quite depressing.
Indeed. But just do the best you can, really. At that point, this is all you can do. That's one of the biggest things. But yeah, definitely something interesting. Yeah.
Let's see if Tofu Boy will be able to catch up to Torska, even though he is on 9-lap old hards.
Falling back.
He's
falling back, but
is he falling back?
he is.
I think he is the closest to anyone. Actually, he gained almost half a second in sector 3. So
Well,
he is pushing a little bit.
I think it is something interesting, but I think he is gaining now. So I thought it was he is gaining. Currently, gap is around 3-ish seconds, so shouldn't be too bad. The but yeah, I mean this race is kind of there's a couple of small battles here and there. So we'll see what happens. Is anyone on AI curiously enough?
I don't think anyone is.
So everyone's giving their all the concentration over there, I guess. Which is cool.
Now it also is quite concerning that Justin is about to lap Tofu Boy with the amount of laps that we've had. I mean, we've had 17 laps, and with only 6 cars on the grid, Tofu Boy getting lapped already is, I would think, quite depressing for him. Justin is really catching him a lot.
Justin is he's a fast one, ain't he?
Justin is definitely a fast one. One of the favorites for the championship battle this year, actually. I think he is leading the championship at the moment. Let me just pull that up real quick on my phone. And there is Tofu Boy letting Justin go with the blue flag flashing.
Good. It's good that they let him go and whatnot.
Let me actually have a look at the standings real quick. So it is Justin currently leading. He has 34 points. With Fox, the Alpine, currently in P4, being in P2 with 22 points. And then Dragon, the other Red Bull, currently in P2 with 20 points. And I think Red Bull is leading the Constructors' Championship, so this is also a very favorable race for the Red Bulls to score some nice points.
It is. Yeah, it's going to be a good haul for the Red Bulls. Today in the race at Monza, it was a McLaren 1-2. Now it's a Red Bull 1-2, like the good old days. So, definitely something very, very interesting to take part of. But yeah, for sure, the guys are still there, and that's pretty commendable, even with everything.
I actually wonder how much time Tofu Boy will gain once Torska will have to let go the Red Bull behind him, as he's really starting to close in quickly. Of course, Tofu Boy lost some time because he pulled off to the side to let the Red Bull go, and I wonder if Torska will do the same. Let's hope he will.
I mean, yep, that's what you got to do at that point. With all that.
And there he
Blue
goes.
flags at Monaco. Yeah, it's just. Seeing at Monaco, it's interesting. You know, I think that people like it is quite hard. People are like, oh, you know, you got lapped at Monaco, ha. You know, but in reality, it is quite hard. That's a circuit which demands all your concentration. So you kind of need everything.
Yeah,
in that
it's
sense.
definitely also one of the hardest tracks to not only overtake in general, but also just let people pass under blue flags. It's really, really tight. And there's only a handful of straights that you can really do it. Safely, of course. Especially if it's a big pack of cars. If it's only one car, it's much easier to do compared to when there's a pack that has to go through.
There's something very interesting. But I mean, getting lapped, it's not fun. But I gotta give you some credit for still staying there. You know, one of the things. So yeah, there's nothing much for me to say at the moment.
Yeah, there's really nothing interesting happening on track. Well, Tofu Boy is in the DRS of Torska now. So he has gained quite some time, as he is within striking distance now.
The wear medium, so
it might very well be.
Yeah.
It might be that Torska has been really abusing those mediums to the point where they are starting to give up on their tire life, and where the hards are starting to kick in, where their tire wear is much better, of course.
Actually, counterpoint, what I think could happen is that maybe Torska is saving tires.
That could also be an option. It could very well be that he's trying to make it to the end on those medium tires and just tries to save them the best that he can.
It's like, you know, the whole "one of my tires are gone" meme actually came from Monaco. Was definitely something quite interesting. But yeah.
I wonder how long it will take for Tofu Boy to get a proper chance of maybe sending one around the inside or outside, as he is getting really close. Now, will he make it in Raskas? No, he won't. Continues. Tries to maybe overtake him with the DRS. He has quite some battery saved up, and he's using it now, but
corner.
he didn't have a greatest of exits.
You're gonna want to get a really good exit off of that to make that corner stick. 'Cause, it's kind of like Monza. You want to be within 4 to 3/10 to make that overtake. Because I've not really seen. The only time I've ever seen an overtake attempted there was Verstappen and Grosjean, and that ended up with Verstappen, in the barriers. If you remember that.
Yeah, that was definitely a hefty impact. As Dragon retired, so Dragon retired now in the Casino Square. The Casino Square has been really an unfortunate place for people to crash out.
Dragon has left the session. That promotes Tuas Pixel up to P2, Fox up to P3, Torsk up to P4, and Tofubo up to P5. There's only 5 runners here. It still goes on though between Torsk and Tofuboy, and you can see how fast Tofuboy is. Have to just slam on the brakes there. Just that, and this is where Torska gets the best exit, because he's got that one step softer of compound, right? So one of the biggest things is that he will undoubtedly get that little bit of an advantage. But I think that does happen from time to time, and yeah.
I think what Molly might, or not Molly, excuse me, Tofu Boy might be doing at this point is just trying to stay behind him, trying to play the slow game, as he gets a 3-second time penalty. He might just try and play the slow game, wait till Torska's tire fall off a little bit, and then try to get an attack going.
Surprised it hasn't already just gotten a puncture, if I'm being honest.
I think the Justin is on 22 laps on those mediums, so it shows how long they can be alive. So I think Justin will be boxing within a couple of laps for maybe a set of softs, and Tofu Boy almost loses it. Controls the car again. But I wonder how the strategy is going to be for Justin. Excuse me.
Maybe a secondary stop could be something interesting. You don't really do 2 stoppers at Monaco unless you have the gap. That's the main thing.
He might very well go just for 2 softs, try to get the fastest lap as well to secure those 26 points for the championship.
It will be something. I mean, like, we've seen championships decided, you know, by a singular point as well. So, with the grid this close, I wouldn't be surprised if people pit again for fastest lap. But everyone is gonna get points today. They're, you know, wherever they finished, which is, I think, it's just a positive for everyone when you think about it.
Yeah, it's just another thing to finish the race and not just say, alright, I'm gonna DNF, I can't be arsed racing anymore. It's just, if you finish the race, you're just gonna be rewarded with at least some points. Because I think the lowest you can score today is 10 points, which is could still mean quite a big of a difference in the end of the season. And let's see again, will Tofu Boy be able to get a good exit? It looks like it was a decent one. But I don't think he will be able to send it here. No, he won't.
If he wants to get it done, he wants to get it done clean. That's respectful. Really, really respectful.
It is indeed. He doesn't want to barge his way through. Doesn't want to push his opponent off into the barrier. He just wants a nice, clean move. Which is very hard to do in these streets, as Torska went a little bit deep. I think that Tofu Boy did the same thing. Maybe not as far, but it didn't lose them any time.
I mean, it does look like Tofu Boy is getting everywhere else, but Torska is just getting that brilliant exit off at the last corner. So it is interesting to see what happens. Currently, they are battling for a decent chunk of points. So
I actually wonder if maybe one of them will still have a pit stop on the way. Maybe even both of them will have a pit stop.
And the racer is just pitted now. You set us off, so he wants that fast lap. And Torska speeds off into the distance. This is interesting. This scene at that Torska goes to AI, so maybe it's the AI taking over for a corner, and then he gets back into it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it could be that the AI knows how to control it. So I don't know. I mean, maybe take a look at that. Be interesting.
What corner does that happen?
Corner. Take a look on either Tofu Boy's or Torska's perspective. So he's in his own being right now, let's say. Going through last sector. He's really taking it easy. His tires must be absolutely, like, he doesn't want to be aggressive on our throttle. You can see right about maybe he's listening or something like that. I thought he went.
Oh, and he went into the wall. And now Tofu Boy is passed.
Whoa. It's not very cool. Yeah, now he's gone on ghosting as well.
Yeah, but that's because of the blue flags, I believe. That's why the ghosting is on.
I know. I just saw him doing it on the last corner. So something very interesting. He's not ghosted. The boy's ghosted. Wow. Or is it just my poor vision?
I have seen cars going into ghost, just on random occasions in this race. I've seen it also happening in qualifying. I don't know if it's just another bug in F1 2021 or if it's a spectator thing. Or if they're actually just switching to AI for corners that they can't handle, or something weird is going on. And that's Fox as well going on the softs currently. So he went off those mediums and onto the softs, currently in P3. As Justin sets the fastest lap with a 109.9.
So that is, I mean, for a race lap with fuel and whatnot, that's pretty quick.
I believe that's quicker than some of the qualifying times we had at the qualifying
I think
here.
108.5, so yes, that is quicker. And with more fuel is typically expected, which is pretty damn interesting, if I do say so myself.
So, also Justin is about to lap the car in P3 of Fox.
Man,
that's how you can see how much of a gap he has really pulled.
It's mighty impressive, let me say that now.
It really is. He's been really... The car has been on rails for him. He's just been flying through all these laps. Let's see if it will be another fastest lap for Justin, following it up. Or if Fox will maybe take the fastest lap. That's also an option, of course. And Fox going across the line now. Doesn't look like he stole it, but neither did Justin.
Justin still holds fastest lap.
Maybe Justin just set that one fastest lap and just chooses now to save his tires a little bit, not push anymore for another stop. Just try to make it those 10 laps to the end, which the soft should be able to do, seeing that they did that even on a higher fuel, which of course gives you more wear.
And it's definitely something that is considered, and also with the soft you can kind of relax a little bit. You have that grip, you've got that oh, I guess you could say a bit of a
Bit of a confidence
advantage.
boost. I think the biggest thing in the softs, I think, especially on Monaco, it's just a confidence boost of knowing that your tires have much more grip, that you can push that just that tiny bit more, be that tiny bit more aggressive. And yeah, I think that's the most important part about the soft tire compound, especially switching from a softer compound.
It's just nice to feel a bit relaxed, Monaco. You don't get a lot of these moments, you know. So the fact that you're able to pace a little bit easier. I know racing isn't that thing with easiness, but that you are able to is nice. I think people go on soft tires. We were seeing Torska go 2 seconds a lap, about 3 seconds a lap slower. So maybe because he's in last and he can't pit for the time, would be quite interesting.
It might also be that he, for example, has a lime green front wing, which unfortunately we as spectators can't see, because the damage model doesn't show light green front wings in this game, which is also quite sad actually. And I just had a notification on my phone that from the real race in Monza today, Max Verstappen was handed the free place grid penalty for causing a crash with Lewis Hamilton.
No comment on that. Honestly, I'm not gonna say anything.
Now, personally, I would say it was more Hamilton's fault than Verstappen's, but if the FIA thinks it's a free grid place penalty for Verstappen, then there probably is some reasoning behind it of why they did that. So, yeah. Definitely interesting.
Sure, okay, so now Torska's taken my advice, I guess, and pitted for some new soft tires. But really, I think that it'll be extremely interesting to see what happens. As I think that it can affect the championship. I think this championship in real life F1 it's kind of like 2008 with Felipe and Hamilton. where they both have off weekends, and then ultimately, you know, it's interesting, in that sense.
I think the championship this year is gonna be very, very close towards the end, but I also think next year's championship will be interesting, especially if George Russell joining Mercedes. So I hope it's gonna be a Hamilton versus Rosberg season again, where those two are gonna fight with each other for the championship, and maybe even Verstappen joining in on that. So a three-way championship fight would definitely be interesting.
In Formula One, you have everyone with a strong driver lineup, and you also have Haas with Mick Schumacher, and then you have the unnamed,
The one that shall not be named.
Yeah. It's a whole thing, but he's okay, I would say, for the car he's given.
I mean, you also have to look that it's still Formula 1. You still have to be a skilled driver to be in Formula 1. And the fact that he's kind of on pace is showing that he is a good driver, of course.
For sure. An Atlantic society.
But also, to be honest, we
betting
won't know
again.
what the cars will do next season, because it might be that we'll see a Williams in the top 2 again, and Mercedes maybe bottom of the pack. We really don't know how the regulations are going to
It would be George Russell's luck if it was a Mercedes at the bottom of the pack.
It would be fun. I mean, it would be funny, but it would also be really depressing if Williams would be a championship winning car next season.
Yeah.
Where
Haas
Nicholas
put it- they
Latifi
put
will
in-
be beating Russell.
They put in I think all of the
The budget.
resources into 2022.
Yeah, I think Haas has not put a single upgrade on the car this season and put everything into 2022. So that'll be interesting to see how their car will be and how their performance will be. Because I think if their performance will be bottom of the grid again, I don't think we will see Haas in Formula 1 for much longer. As of course money isn't endless.
For sure, but they'll probably get bought out. That's one of the biggest things.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's only the question then, who's gonna buy them out? Is the meme gonna be true, and is Rich Energy gonna be a Formula 1 team? Or maybe we will see another manufacturer team coming into Formula 1.
Heard that it's for Sauber, but it might be for Haas as well. Penske Motorsport could potentially be buying the team itself. So
That's interesting.
obviously Haas is an American team, Penske's American IndyCar thing, and also Formula E. So I mean, they have been in Formula 1 before. Could definitely be interesting because they were thinking about doing the investment itself. Alfa Romeo, they were doing Sauber, so it would be they would buy Sauber, and it would be Penske. Interesting. But yeah, nothing much else to say about that.
As
I mean,
Fox is now pulling into the pit lane after damaging his wing. Unfortunate
Safe.
towards the end of the race.
I think he'll be overtaken now.
Yeah, that will be Tofu Boy overtaking him.
You'll get the soft tires, so maybe 4 lap dash, shall I say? The end.
It will definitely be a mission to do it, as he is quite far behind. But I think it would be very doable, especially because Tofu Boy is on very old hards.
Let's follow Fox then in that case. Tofu Boy is right around a hairpin. Fox is an AI?
Now Fox was letting go Pixel because of the blue flags.
Okay. Gotcha. And I was like, okay, you just ghosted. Okay. So, too far apart, and with new softs. Interesting. Maybe this is the battle we've been waiting for here.
It might very well be. It's 12 seconds of a gap, and he has about 5 laps left to get that move done.
3 seconds a lap. would be manageable. That would be insane. Tap the barrier.
Oh, and front wing's gone.
Oh,
That was a very small tap for the amount of damage that it did.
that's a damage model in this game.
That's very unfortunate for Fox. So now he'll be in P5 because Torska will be overtaking him again. So Fox just went from P3 to P5, which is also very unfortunate for him in the championship, as his main championship rival Justin is currently leading.
Super unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate for Fox. I really didn't expect his wing to just fall off like that. Maybe the Alpine team ran out of wings and just taped the old one together, and the tape just flew off.
Interesting. I mean, will be something that like when I was I think it was a Beyond the Grid podcast with like Cyril Abitable or someone. I think it was Eric Boulier, and he worked at Renault at one point. I'm pretty sure. He was like, oh, I don't know who it was, but I remember hearing, yeah, as Renault, we didn't have much budget, so at Singapore when like Red Bull had 3 or 4 front wings, we just had the one front wing. So yeah, it might be something very interesting, but that's just a bit of Formula One trivia.
Now, I think there was something in Monaco this year with Haas saying that they only had one extra front wing for both cars. So if they crashed, they would have probably retired in the pit lane if they lost the front wing, because they just didn't have the budget for extra front wings, as Fox gets a 3-second time penalty.
I mean, one of the big things, everyone said that passes were going to end up in the marina that wouldn't have a front wing change. I think that would just be a bit of a recovery now, I think. But yeah, something to talk about. I don't know how people have. I don't know how front wings are really allocated, but they are like 150,000 pop.
It's really something you do not want to break. Looking at the money,
you can get replica ones that for like 8,000 or 9,000 pounds. Could be something.
I don't even think those are replica ones. I think those are just old front wings that they had laying around extra that they're just reselling.
Yeah, that's one way to make money from one team.
Because I'm pretty sure I saw even whole side pods being sold.
Side pods, halos, you can buy.
Yeah, you can buy wheels. I'm pretty sure you can buy a rear wing. You can buy pretty much every part of bodywork. I'm pretty sure you could just buy even a wing mirror.
You can buy like these show cars and whatnot.
Yeah, I believe AlphaTauri is one of the teams that sells their old cars.
Yeah.
I think recently a 2019 Alpha, or back then it was Toro Rosso was sold. For how much was it? Like $1 million and something, I think.
Yeah, and it works as well, fully working.
I think it's without the engine.
Oh, okay.
I think those cars they sell without the engine. I think it's Ferrari that has their customer operation where they sell their full cars that you can drive.
I would love what I would do to drive the F2004 on Spa or Monza. That is such a beautiful car. Such a nice noise, the V10.
I think just driving a Formula 1 car, whichever one it might be, is just a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Wouldn't want to drive the Williams, but regardless, speaking of driving a Formula 1 car, this man has done it very well today. Has dominated from start to finish. The final corner, bit of a power slide, blocking the second gear, dancing across the line, and it's Justin the racer slows down. He's got a gap. of a burnout,
He can play
like
around.
his compatriot Max Verstappen. Quick
And
pixel.
there's the sister car.
Red Bull. Safety car now?
There's a sister car of the Alpha Tauri. So it is technically a Red Bull 1 too. On paper.
Management speaking, yes. Torska in P4 across the final line. Actually, Fox did catch up decent amount.
He did
I
catch
will
up
say.
by about, I think it was 10 seconds. He caught up, which is still very impressive. It's still amazing pace that he showed. But yeah,
race.
that was the race for today. I don't think we will even do interviews because there's really not a lot to talk about. As pretty much lap 1 was the only thing where stuff was really happening. So yeah, I think we'll just show the podium, the race director, and say goodbye to everyone. So here is Justin, our winner, spraying the invisible champagne, as always in F1 2020. French driver taking another victory and extending his championship lead from 34 points to 50 points. So congratulations to our top 3 and everyone that actually finished the race. Thank you for finishing. I think that's the most important part. And yeah, hopefully we will see everyone back next week with hopefully more cars on the grid. So yeah, do you have any more words to say, Shiv?
Thank you for watching, and it was a good introductory race. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully see you guys next week with... What track is it gonna be? Let me have a little look. It's gonna be Baku, so hopefully a more exciting race, and hopefully more cars. So, see you everyone next week.